Okay, so on we go for today's short lesson. The Maha Mantra, the sound of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. When you make that sound, there are 3 levels of that sound's existence. Now, if you put on the tape recorder, it's all the same, right? But if you take people at certain stages and have them chanting and record it and play that to a self-realized soul, they'll tell you what stage of chanting that sound is just by hearing it, because they know they have reached the highest stage of chanting, and therefore they can say lower stage, middle stage, higher stage by the quality, not by the tone of the music and all the embellishment that may go with it, but by the spiritual tone of the sound. They will know.
Cuando se canta ese Maha Mantra, hay 3 niveles ahí, e incluso si pones a unas personas juntos cantando y lo grabas, una persona avanzada puede escuchar esa grabación y puede decir en qué estado de realización está eso, no por el tono o la melodía como suene, sino por la realización que hay ahí.
How will you know what is ignorance? Only when you know what the truth is. Only when you have knowledge. How will you know when cheating is there? Cheating, very prominent in this world, cheating. You have to know what the proper thing is. And if you don't know, definitely will get cheated. For example, I'm pulling out a 500 peso note, and the lady's got the thing, and she's going like this. What is she doing? She's looking to see if it's counterfeit, you see. But if you give me a counterfeit 500 peso note, unless it's a really bad job like monopoly money or something, I don't know. But if you know what to look for, then you will not be cheated. You will not get a counterfeit note. So the only way to protect ourselves from being cheated, the only way to protect ourselves from ignorance is to know what proper real knowledge is and what the truth is. It's only intelligent, right? I mean, it's logical. That is the way.
Entonces, ¿cómo sabemos cuando algo es ignorancia? Pues cuando sabemos la verdad. Y ponía el ejemplo de si vas a una caja registradora y la señorita le das el billete, ella lo empieza a ver y va a ver si es falso o es bueno. Pero si te lo dan a ti, no sabes. Entonces, pero si llegas a saber, tú sabes cuando tienes en tus manos algo que es falso. Tienes el conocimiento apropiado y por lo tanto tienes la verdad, entonces sabes cuando alguien te está engañando también.
So the 3 stages of chanting the Maha Mantra are known as Nāma-aparādha. Nam means the name. Nāma-aparādha, Nāmābhāsa, and Śuddha-nāma. So the first one, the first stage, it's not the beginning stage. It's the stage to avoid. It's not like you don't begin with Nāma-aparādha. Aparādha means offensive. To be an offensive chanter.
Nāma-aparādha es ofensa. La primera etapa es el evitar eso, el evitar ofensas.
It's not easy to be what they call a Nāma-aparādhi.
No es fácil ser un Nāma-aparādhi.
You have to really work hard to offend Krishna. And that would be something like cursing Krishna, cursing the mantra and saying, that's the name of the devil, and just saying nasty things. So it's clear, it's not the beginning stage. We don't begin like that, although many people have begun like that. To hell with this, just shouting nasty things, but in the end, they themselves became devotees of Krishna. There are many instances throughout Puranic history as well as modern times, but it is not the beginning stage. I don't know that any of you began like that. So the second stage is called Nāmābhāsa. That's the beginning stage. Everyone begins by Nāmābhāsa. Nāmābhāsa means the shadow of the name.
Nāmābhāsa significa la sombra del nombre, pero antes decía que Nāma-aparādha es difícil llegar a eso, tienes que hacer algo muy duro para llegar a esa etapa, porque es ya estar como diciendo cosas detestables en el santo nombre o algo así, e incluso unos empiezan con esa y terminan haciendo las siguientes etapas.
Now, how do you know you're chanting? Nāmābhāsa is the shadow. It's not fully manifest, absolute, non-different from Krishna. The shadow resembles the hand in so many ways, but it's not the hand. But this shadow of the name frees you from previous karmas for millions of lifetimes.
El Nāmābhāsa, que es la sombra, pone el ejemplo de la mano, la sombra no es la mano, pero esa misma sombra te libera de previos karmas en otras vidas.
So, remember, being free from karma is not the goal, ultimate goal of self-realization. It comes in the middle.
Recordar que no es la meta de la autorrealización en el estar libres de karma.
Another benefit of this middle stage, Nāmābhāsa, is it frees you from contaminations in the heart. Material desires, material narthas, bad habits, qualities, all these things. Everybody doesn't become a vegetarian and then start chanting Hare Krishna, or taking prasadam and then start chanting the Maha Mantra. No, a lot of people start before they're even vegetarian, or before any of these other things that develop. And this helps to purify the heart, free themselves from attachments, material desires. All these things, which many people think are the ultimate goal of self-realization, happen in the middle, beginning and middle stage for one who's chanting the Maha Mantra.
Igual, algo que tiene esta segunda etapa en Nāmābhāsa es que ayuda a quitar todos esos apegos, esos malos hábitos, a purificar ciertas cosas del corazón. ¿Qué más? ¿Más dijo?
Y no necesariamente empiezas con eso, sino algunos empiezan como primero siendo vegetarianos.
Sí. No necesariamente antes de llegar a esa etapa ya eres vegetariano. Unos empezamos a cantar el santo nombre incluso sin ser vegetarianos y hacer otras cosas.
So the third stage is the perfect stage of chanting the holy name of Krishna, and it is the perfect and highest stage of enlightenment and self-realization, and that's called Śuddha-nāma.
Se le llama así Śuddha-nāma al último estado de realización, que es de iluminación.
That is the pure name of Krishna.
Ese es el nombre puro de Krishna.
And there, the shadow is gone.
Y ahí la sombra se va.
And you are in direct contact with the hand, with Krishna himself.
Y ya tienes contacto directo con la mano, con Krishna mismo.
Not just in contact, but in love with.
No solo en contacto, sino en amor también.
Think about it.
Piensen
A love
sobre
affair
eso.
with God. A love affair with God in your heart, 24/7.
Piensen en eso. Un enamoramiento con Dios en 7x24.
Now, in one of the classes, I'm going to explain the different stages of liberation that are sought after by great yogis, great jnanis, great aesthetic performers of tapasya, and all these things, stages of liberation. And all of them are included for one who has reached the stage of Śuddha-nāma, the pure chanting of the name and pure love of God, which is known as prema bhakti.
En otras clases va a explicar sobre las cuestiones de los jnanis, de los grandes yogis, de las tapeces que se hacen, la liberación, pero aquí se está hablando del estado del prema bhakti.
There's only one stage of self-realization which is not given to a devotee.
Hay un estado de realización que no se le es dado al devoto.
And that's the one of merging and losing yourself, losing your identity, losing your individuality into the Brahmajyoti, the spiritual effulgence.
Es el de perderte, fundirte y perder tu personalidad en el Brahmayoti, en esa fulgencia.
And why that's not given impersonal Brahman realization to a devotee? Because in that stage, there's no opportunity to serve Krishna. There's no love exchange between you and Krishna. And at that stage, Krishna cannot be seen, understood, in any way, shape, or form.
¿Y por qué no se le da ese estado de realización al devoto? Porque cuando estás en ese estado no tienes esa interacción con Krishna, no puede haber un intercambio de amor, no puedes verlo, no hay oportunidad de servir.
Ni siquiera estar en contacto con la sombra.
Ni siquiera en estar en contacto con la sombra.
And also, that stage of self-realization is temporary.
Y también esa etapa de realización es temporal.
It's like, let me see, what would be an example. You burn yourself on a fire with some hot oil or something, and you stick your hand in some cold water, right? So immediately it may take away the burning, right? When you pull your hand out of the cold water, you're burned, you know? You've got a blister, you've got whatever. It's not a perfect example, but like that. Brahman realization is not sustainable forever. And those yogis who reach there may stay there for tens of thousands of years, but by the very nature of the soul, which is to be in yoga, in union with Krishna, again, they go down to the material world and start over. So Krishna doesn't award that realization to his devotees.
Entonces Krishna no permite esa realización impersonal de Brahman a los devotos. ¿Por qué? Porque los yogis pueden llegar y estar ahí por miles de años en esa función, pero llega el momento que la naturaleza también del alma es estar en movimiento y en servir al Supremo. Y ponía el ejemplo de que si te quemas y sientes mucho quemadura y lo metes en agua fría, pues ya no sientes nada. Pero cuando la sacas vas a seguir y necesitas un tratamiento, como relacionándolo a eso.
So to reach that stage, starting in the Nāmābhāsa, but to reach the stage of Śuddha-nāma, there are certain requirements that must be met, otherwise we cannot reach there. It's as simple as we cannot reach there. It's as simple as that.
Y para, estando en Nāmābhāsa, para aproximarse a otro estado, necesitas conocer ciertas cosas, si no, no te puedes aproximar a eso.
That ultimate goal is like the diploma. How do you get a diploma? You got to go to the school, the university. And you have to qualify. You can't just, okay, I did it, I went there. Well, yeah, come on, get off it and get to work, study, take the test. You have to qualify to get the diploma. So, Śuddha-nāma, prema bhakti, relationship with Krishna. And I'll be giving a talk on what are the types of relationships with Krishna. It's just not, oh, he's the Almighty God and you're the nothing. Oh, no. The relationships of Krishna are just absolutely amazing. So we're going to discuss those things also. But we're talking right now, we're in the middle stage. How do we get through the middle stage? And at that point, we also learn how to avoid that dark area called Vaishnava-aparādha. There are 10 offenses to the name of Krishna that you can commit even by accident. And so I'll be giving some talks on those, what are called the 10 offenses and how to avoid them. It's not hard to avoid them, but if you don't know what they are, you could then easily trip and fall into one of them and make an aparādha. You don't want to do that. That's very destructive for your spiritual progress.
Entonces, ¿cómo obtienes un diploma? ¿Cómo obtuviste ese diploma? Pues tienes que adentrarte a la escuela, aprender, cualificarte y para obtener esos resultados. Lo mismo en esto, y está hablando del estado medio, Nāmābhāsa, que tienes que estar cualificado para llegar a otro estado, pero también ser cuidadoso porque está la parte oscura, que son las ofensas, que incluso va a hablar en futuras clases sobre las 10 ofensas y sobre las relaciones que hay que tiene Krishna con sus devotos, que son impresionantes. Entonces, la ofensa puede destruir incluso hasta accidentalmente tu vida espiritual.
La forma correcta de evitar las 10 ofensas es conocer claramente cuáles son para no entrar ahí.
Gracias. So this is encouraged, Ekanath is hearing this, a lot of these things for the first time. And I go, I tell a bunch of things. So don't be shy. I mean, shy is a good quality, but don't be shy to the point that you don't speak up and be heard. If you can add a clarification or anything on it, please do, whether you're an old timer or a new timer or whatever. That doesn't matter. Please, make yourself known there. Okay, so how to progress and not just sit there in this middle stage. This is a stage where you have to progress. How to progress.
¿Cómo progresar y no solo estar en ese estado de estático?
For that you need the guru, you need the teacher.
Para eso necesitas un maestro, necesitas un guru.
And he gives you the keys, or she gives you the keys.
Y él te da las llaves.
Being guru is not limited to being male or female.
Ser guru no está limitado a ser masculino o femenino,
But it is limited to representing Krishna.
pero sí está limitado a representar a Krishna.
And like I said, there are different types of teachers, there's different types of gurus. You see.
Hay diferentes tipos de maestros, hay diferentes tipos de gurus.
For example, both Jai, Dave, and I are remembering our first real step in Krishna consciousness was through the instruction of one of Prabhupada's female disciples.
Como estaba recordando la otra vez con Jaya Devi y Guru Maharaj, estaban recordando que nuestro primer paso a la conciencia de Krishna fue a través de unas discípulas de Srila Prabhupada.
In fact, some of the best preachers that ever walked, preachers means people who are explaining, have ever walked the faces of this earth have been women.
Preachers, ¿no?
Who's sharing,
Pero que dijo que son
who's
los...
giving shiksha, who's doing what I'm doing right now.
Que algunos de los mejores predicadores que hemos visto en la faz del mundo han sido mujeres.
In fact, some of them were so great that their lectures are recorded in the Vedas, like Kunti.
Y han sido tan buenas que hasta algunas de sus conferencias están grabadas en los Vedas, como el caso de Kunti.
But overall, the tradition is that the figure face of Guru has more been the male, the man, than the woman over thousands of centuries.
Así como han pasado miles de siglos, como que la figura de masculina de Guru tiene como más representación.
And this has to do with many things, none of which are the limitation of, not really the limitation of women, other than most women don't like to fight, right? You like to fight? You want to fight? Come on, you want to fight? You like to fight. But Swami means fighter, actually. A lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around that because they think a Swami has got long hair and a beard and wearing rudrakshas and tulsis and he's just so sweet and so mellowable. That you study the Vedas and that's not exactly what a great Swami actually is. Who does he fight with? He fights with ignorance. He fights with libtards, dullards, snowflakes, and flat-tards. Flat earthers. He fights with them. And overall, fighting is not the nature of women. Simple as that. It's not their nature. There have been some great warrior princesses in the world. In Europe, there was Joan of Arc, and in India, there was, I forget, there were two or three there was Bhutika, who fought the Romans, there was, and in India there were several too. They were right out on the battlefield, you see, fighting. Well, whether you're fighting with a sword or fighting with your words, fighting, it's the similar spirit. You have to go up against an opponent, you have to argue, you have to fight. And this is generally not the given nature of women. But to share their wisdom, I tell you, there's no better ashram than an ashram who has a senior lady or senior ladies in it to share their wisdom. There's no better situation, actually.
Decía que muchas veces vienen como limitaciones para una mujer para ser guru, pero no es porque hay una limitación, simplemente por el título de Swami, que son predicadores, es para pelear, y la naturaleza de la mujer no es pelear. Y en lo largo de la historia de este mundo ha existido mujeres que han peleado, ¿no? Como en Europa, Juana de Arco y otra personalidad que dijo de India, y ya.
So we'll get into that in other conversations, the different types of gurus, but overall, all the gurus, regardless of their type, regardless of their male or female, are the ones who bring you in to the family of Krishna. That's who they are. And that bringing in means so much instruction. And there's teaching by words, there's teaching by example. Right now, you don't want to follow my every example, but you definitely want to follow my words. How can he say that?
Que independientemente ya sea hombre o mujer del guru, la enseñanza es de que te deben de traer a la familia de Krishna. Y puede decir, a lo mejor nadie va a seguir mi ejemplo, pero yo les digo, pero sigan mis palabras. ¿Cómo es eso?
Antes de eso, en la parte anterior, decía que la naturaleza de la mujer no es pelear, pero compartir sí.
Sí.
Y que la ashram ideal es de tener una mujer pues un poco mayor para poder compartir su experiencia, que eso es la ideal.
For example, I'll just give you a mundane example. Nothing wrong with taking a hot shower. Good way to get really clean, right? End it with a blast of cold. Should do that. It's much better for your health. I'm just giving you a little example, but I won't do that. Although I took cold showers up until I was over 50 years old and never used hot water. It's actually, it's really good for you, right? But in winter, why don't you do that now? Because that cold shock might give me a heart attack. It's as simply as that. Because I'm older, I have health issues, I have dietary issues. This morning I had to eat a little oatmeal because if I don't eat something by 10:30, 11, I get, blood pressure goes one way, this, that. I have issues. So you can't follow, I'm just giving you a personal example. You can't follow everything that I do. No, you should follow things that I did. The Guru did when he was younger, when he was your age. What was I doing when I was 23? How was I going? I used to get up at 3:15, 3:10 in the morning. I did that until one day I crashed a car and almost killed some people because I wasn't sleeped enough, you see. So, I'm just giving some practical example, but overall, there are not many things that I do that you do. We all follow kind of the same kind of thing. Get myself in trouble here. ¿Comprenden?
Decía de que, porque pone el ejemplo de que él hasta sus 50 años tomaba baños de agua fría, después ya no, y recomienda que tomar baños de agua caliente y terminar con algo frío, ¿no? Pero ¿por qué no toma ahorita esos baños de agua fría? Porque si lo toma un regaderazo de agua fría, pues le puede dar un paro cardíaco porque ya está más viejo, tiene ciertas enfermedades, tiene que comer ciertas cosas, pero también pone el ejemplo de que cuando estaba joven a sus 23 se paraba a las 3:15 y muy moderado en todo eso, pero llegó el momento donde también por no dormir suficiente chocó y casi mata a algunas personas.
Nor in your stage of life, particularly those of you who are mothers, do you have to feel that you have to do the same thing as the young brahmacharis or the swamis or anything like that. You're in a different stage of life. You're taking care of children. You have these monsters crawling all over you all day and night, stressing you out, pulling your ears, pulling your earrings, urinating on the floor, whatever. You have to deal with it.
Como igual a las amas de casa, las que ya son mamás, pues no tienen que seguir el mismo estilo de vida como un brahmachari, que pararse temprano, hacer aquello, porque ya están los niños, esos monstruitos que te están pidiendo lata aquí y allá, jalando aquí y haciendo y acá.
But Prabhupada used to say, everything belongs to Krishna. These are not your children. You are the guardian of these children. They are living beings just like you. They're going to grow up. They have their desires. They have their karma. They have their thoughts. They are Krishna's children, and you are their mother. Krishna's not their mother. He's the father. You're their mother. He's this guy. You just got cut out the equation, Bubba. In other words, the duty of raising children is to give them the best opportunity in life, and not just materially, but spiritually. Equal, if even not more.
Decía que esos niños que tienes, de hecho no son tus niños. Prabhupada solía decir que tú eres el guardián de esos niños van a crecer, tienen sus deseos, van a hacer su vida y van a hacer lo que quieran. ¿Y qué dijo ahorita al final? ¿Algo de igual?
Que la obligación es darles un avance espiritual, al menos el que tú tienes, y si no es que mejor.
Who is stronger, water or stone?
¿Qué es más fuerte, el agua o la piedra?
If I throw a cup of water in your face, it's like a little bit of a shock. That ain't nothing. If I take a cup of rocks and hit you in the face, it's like, oh my God, my nose is bleeding. It's like, water is stronger. He goes, water just drip, 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 will wear a hole. If you've ever been in the Sierras where the mountains are and where water gets swirling around and seen these holes that just get dug, I've seen them bore through 6 and 8 feet of granite rock, and you go, wow, that took thousands of years to do. Very, very slow. But the water wore away the stone and the water went on. You see, so advancement in spiritual life is like the water wearing away the stone. It's at times imperceivable. You can't tell you're making any advancement. It's like climbing up a mountain. It's just forever going up. When's it going to end? And then all of a sudden, at some point, you turn around and you go, wow, I'm really up here now. You can see, right? But step by step, your advancement is, or it's like growing children. You raise them, you don't even see them grow. An uncle or a family member sees them after 6 months or 2 years or something, and they go, oh, wow, you've grown so much, you know. But you, who see them every day, you don't know how much they've grown unless you're marking it on the wall, right, every so many months. Right? What they call that, the growth is imperceptible, imperceivable. So our spiritual advancement is like that, and every once in a while, then you realize you actually see the purification. Of course, you don't see your karmas disappearing because you don't even know what they were. They were coming at you, but they were disappeared. But material desires, anger, woo, man, controlling anger, that is so difficult for many people, anger. And, when we're younger, it's like we're a firecracker that's just ready to blow up. There it goes. That's it, huh? Time out. Time over. Okay, so, but there is a process. If we follow the process, the advancement is there. And if you're using the water analogy, guess what? You can increase the pressure of that water also. Not that it's just drip, drip, very, very slow. Yeah, you can do the drip, drip method very, very slow, or you can turn on the tap and give it a blast. So if you want to give it a blast, start by getting up early in the morning. Don't allow and early to bed, early to rise. That's the key. You know, you need so much sleep, go to sleep early. You see, and get up early. And again, I was explaining the morning time. What is the morning? It's a muhurta called the Brahma Muhurta. And on we go. There's so much to learn, and you can apply the learning to your practice, and that will bring you progress. And if you stick with it, you'll see everything that I've said and things that I haven't said yet. And certainly, if you stick around, you'll hear things even years from now. That Gary, I was with Gary, he's been with me for 15 years, and the other day, well, not the other day, it's happened many times, he goes, I never heard you say that before. And I said, what do you think, I told you everything already? So I'm not withholding, you see. Well, what is the truth? The truth is the infinite. So you think you got to just back it all up in 6 months? Yeah, I got the truth. Put it right here. Well, in a word, Krishna is everything. But what is that everything? It's infinite. It goes forever. The knowledge is infinite. All these things. So don't expect that, yeah, I heard that before. Yeah, I heard that before. No, that's not self-realization. And don't think, oh yeah, I read the Bhagavad Gita. Read it again. If you've been practicing, give it a month. Give it a few weeks. Give it some time. Read it again. See what happens. How much clearer it becomes. Same old thing what you read has another level of clarity. Give it another 6 months and read it. It's like, wow, this gets brighter and clearer and brighter and clearer and deeper. That's the nature of the infinite. That's the nature of reality. The other world is, oh yeah, I took that course. Yeah, I studied that. Yeah, I listened to that lecture by that professor. Why? Because it's not dynamic. It's material. It's limited. Once you learned it, you learned it. The only thing that they can't keep, well, actually there are a lot of things they can't finish learning about the universe. It's just beyond human comprehension, practically. The human brain. Remember the people who have no brain? Remember them? Well, what's that all about? You know? What is the mind, brain? There's many things, but the example is there are things that you've learned, and that's it. When you've learned them, that's it. You've learned it. You don't take the same course again. That's redundant. That'd be boring. Well, Bhagavad Gita, you can read the rest of your life every day, and you can expect, if you're a practicer, to find newer and newer light and inspiration there, because it's the infinite speaking to you. Comprende? Thank you very much. So we'll time out now. All right?